Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Good 5 Cent Cigar Newscast. I'm Sadie Brandt. Thank you so much for joining us. This week we learn campus safety procedures, visit construction on campus, ICE protests, visit the MU game room, Super Bowl predictions, and the Cigar visits open skate night. And of course, Charlie Adams will have all things Rhody athletics covered in this week's Rhody Sports Corner. On December 13th, 2025, a mass shooting occurred at Brown University, taking the lives of 2 students. For our top story this week, Morganne Judd met with the Director of Emergency Management, Sam Adams, to discuss active shooter protocols in a case of emergency. Here's Morganne with the story.
The University of Rhode Island ensures the safety of its students in the threat of an active shooter. But are you aware of the steps to keep yourself and others safe? I met with Director of Emergency Management, Sam Adams, to discuss the protocols. First is being alerted.
With our police patrol, we usually would have a police officer on the scene within about a minute and a half tops. And depending on what's happening, how many reports they're getting, or what they see when they arrive on scene, the police supervisor will immediately order a lockdown through dispatch. Dispatch now has a console where they can basically, with a couple of clicks, issue a lockdown order.
Adams says it's important to follow orders given in response to an active shooter notification.
Find a safe place. Lock the door, turn off the lights, silence your cell phone. Don't turn your cell phone off because you need to be able to receive alerts to know what's going on. If you're outdoors, try to get to a secure location. You're not going to be able to get into a building right away, but we will set up a shelter so people who are outside will have a place to go. It's not going to happen immediately. But stay safe. If you encounter the active shooter, then as part of the CRACE training, it's avoid, deny, defend. Try to get away from them. That's the run or the hide piece. And as a last resort, fight, defend yourself.
If you're on campus, whether it's the dining hall, outside on the quad, or even in a lounge area like this, if you notice any strange activity, Sam Adams says it's always worth reporting. But what are the signs to look out for?
Any sort of suspicious behavior, if the person looks like they're kind of casing the location, looking for someone who's wearing a heavy coat or a long coat when it's not the right weather for it, because that could be concealing a weapon. Any of those kinds of things.
If you suspect any strange activity, it's important to report it to the URI Police Department.
We have an armed, sworn police department. All of our police officers go through the same municipal police academy that city and town police officers go through. They'll be there within a minute or two, and they can check it out and determine if there's a cause for concern or not.
The University of Rhode Island's police department offers CRACE, Citizens Response to an Active Shooter training. During this training, the police department provides strategies on how to respond to an active shooter situation using avoid, deny, and defend. The next CRACE training will take place on February 12th at 2 p.m. in the Memorial Union. I'm Morganne Judd reporting for the Good 5 Cent Cigar. Back to you.
Thanks, Morganne. On Friday, the Young Democratic Socialists of America joined in on a nationwide strike against the recent actions of ICE in front of the Robert L. Carruthers Library, with over 200 students in attendance. Here's Gerdts on the scene.
People across the United States are protesting the actions of ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the federal agency responsible for enforcing immigration laws, including detentions, deportations, and immigration raids. Today, January 30th, members of the URI community gathered to take part in a nationwide strike calling for changes to the agency's policy. Young Democratic Socialists of America organized an ICE-out protest in front of the Robert L. Carruthers Library, joining demonstrations happening across the country. Organizers say their goal of the protest was to bring attention to issues they believe many people don't fully understand and to encourage action through awareness.
So if people know what's happening, then they can do something about it and ultimately strengthen our community here at URI, but also all the way up until Providence and ultimately the nation as well. This is something that it's important to me, being the children of immigrants, but it should be important to everybody because it affects everyone. It's non-discriminate anymore.
Students attending the protest say encouragement also came from inside their classrooms, with some professors canceling class to allow students to participate.
During our, I think, Wednesday class, and she actually canceled class because of this and encouraged us all to come. I think it's good to just keep it in the forefront of our minds, especially in some places it feels kind of secluded, like way out here in Kingston in a campus.
Protests like this are unfolding nationwide as students and community members speak out against ICE's enforcement practices, pushing for immigration reform and greater accountability. How policymakers will respond to this is still unfolding. I'm Ella Gerdts with the Good 5 Cent Cigar. Back to you.
Thanks, Ella. URI is under construction. Construction of new buildings and facilities have been in development on campus. Are you curious as to what some of these new additions are? Here's Casey Smutko with the details.
Over the past few years, URI has been renovating and adding new structures to our campus. This includes the 6-year renovation of the Fine Arts Building, 2 new dorms on Flag Road, and a project to improve the drainage system on Complex Road. Since 2019, the Fine Arts Building has been under renovations, adding new spaces for 3 art galleries and a new ventilation system for the theater department. The construction was supposed to conclude by last year, but there are still some parts surrounded by fences. These renovations are needed for more spaces to store costumes and add practice rooms for music majors. The 2 new dorms will begin construction this year, one already in progress for the fall 2027 semester, and the second to open the fall 2028 semester. They will be apartment style and house upperclassmen who want to live on campus. It's unknown when the drainage improvement project will be finished, as there is still fencing around the brook.
Thanks, Casey. Are you looking for a spot on campus to have some fun? The Memorial Union Game Room has expanded this semester and features new games for students to play. Stephen Russo stopped by the game room to test out some of these new games. Here's an inside look.
Over the winter break, URI updated its game room on the first floor of the Memorial Union. Since opening last spring, URI's Memorial Union has been transforming its game room to give students more ways to relax and connect on campus, according to Ryan Crowley, coordinator of operations at the Memorial Union. New additions to the game room include basketball hoops, skee-ball, and 4 new arcade games, including Pac-Man, NBA Jam, Fast and Furious, and Mortal Kombat. Well, I consider myself a good driver in real life, but let's see how it translates into the virtual world. Crowley says these upgrades are planned to maximize fun while staying on budget. But the fun won't stop there. Crowley hopes to add pinball machines, international games, and expand the game room farther across the first floor of the Memorial Union. Now let's go play some ping pong. Crowley encourages students to stop by his office in room 212 with suggestions for games they'd like to see, helping to shape the next phase of the game room. Well, this has been fun, and if you're looking to kill some time in between classes, come on down to the Memorial Union game room. I'm gonna head back to my game, so back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Stephen. It has been 7 years since the New England Patriots made it to the Super Bowl. But after defeating the Denver Broncos during the AFC Championship game, the Patriots will return to the Super Bowl, where they will take on the Seattle Seahawks. But do URI students think the Patriots will secure their 7th Super Bowl championship title, or will the Seahawks win it all? Gerard Villemenay surveyed students on their predictions. Here's Gerard.
For the first time in 7 years, the New England Patriots are back in the Super Bowl, this time playing the Seattle Seahawks once more. Here at the University of Rhode Island, I interviewed students about what their thoughts are about the big game.
I like Seattle. I have a couple buddies who are Seattle fans, so I'm rooting for them, really. But obviously everybody's a Pats fan here. I don't know, maybe go for the underdog. Pats, maybe, hopefully.
The Patriots got to play the Broncos without Bo Nix. I think that gave them a slight edge. And then I think the Seahawks and the Rams was about as good as you can ask for. You know, 2 teams that have looked really dangerous lately. I think I said before the championship games that I think whatever team comes out of NFC is going to take the Super Bowl.
Some students have doubts about New England.
I'm a big Pats fan. I think we did have the advantage versus the Broncos, but the Seahawks game kind of has me nervous, seeing the way they played against the Rams. So they have JSN, great wide receiver, probably the best in the NFL right now. So kind of nervous, but still go Pats.
I'm a Pat fan, so I'm pretty happy that my team is back in the Super Bowl after 6 years of not being in the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. But at the same time, we are playing the Seahawks, so I'm not really excited for that.
Students also gave their score predictions for the game.
I don't think the Pats can keep up with Seattle. That's really the only problem. I'm going to go Seattle wins 27-14.
I think the Patriots are going to win. I don't see them losing to Seattle.
And what's the score margin for that?
I think that's in God's hands, but I do know that Drake May will make it happen. I'm sure it'll be a close game, though. Seattle has a really good defense.
Only time will tell on whose predictions will be correct. Reporting from the University of Rhode Island for the Good 5 Cent Cigar, my name is Gerard Villemenay.
Thanks, Gerard. Grab your ice skates. Last Friday, Gerdts and Nora Kelley headed to the Boss Ice Arena for Open Skate Night in this week's Cigar Tries. Here's Ella and Nora at the rink.
We're taking the cigar on ice. For this week's Cigar Tries, we're skating at Boss Ice Arena. When you first entered, all URI students had free entry and were able to rent skates for free. You were able to then put on your skates and make your way to the rink. Now I'm ready to skate. Once we made our way onto the ice, I had a bit of trouble getting used to the skating, but eventually I started to get the hang of it. By the end of skating, my feet were a bit sore. I just finished ice skating. This is Gerdts with the Good 5 Cent Cigar. Back to you, Sadie.
Looking ahead, here's what's going on next week at URI. Get ready for some high-energy fun. Indoor laser tag will take place on Friday from 5 to 9 p.m. in the Memorial Union Ballroom. To participate, students must form teams of 6 to compete. Games are first come, first serve. Plan accordingly. The Super Bowl Big Game Watch Party will take place on Sunday in the Rams Den from 5:30 to 10 p.m. Whether you're a sports fan, excited for the halftime show, love free food, or are just here for the commercials, bring your friends and watch right here on campus. Pink Women will host a Compliment Grams booth on Monday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Compliment Grams give students the chance to share words of encouragement and appreciation with others. To write a compliment, head to the Memorial Union Booth 1. To learn more about upcoming events on campus, visit URI Involved at uriinvolved.uri.edu. And with that, I'll hand it off to Charlie Adams with this week's Rhody Sports Corner.
Thanks, Sadie. Welcome to the Rhody Sports Corner, your place for all the latest updates across URI athletics. I'm Charlie Adams. With both basketball teams on the road this week, we'll take a look at women's lacrosse ahead of their season opener on Friday. The Rams are gearing up for their second ever season, and our own Tyler Pinheiro caught up with head coach Jenna Slowey and preseason Atlantic 10 All-Conference attacker Carolee Baswell from Meade Stadium.
I'm Tyler Pinheiro of the Good 5 Cent Cigar Newscast, and this week we're taking a preview at the women's lacrosse team as they get ready for their second season in program history.
Rhode Island went 8-8 last season and 4-6 in conference play, just one win away from making the conference tournament, and they are now looking to use the momentum from last season to bring it into this season.
Really proud of what we did last year, having most of our kids having never played Division I lacrosse before, and to come out 8-8 and one win away from making the conference tournament. We're definitely really proud of that. Trying to take that confidence, but every year is a new year, so new team, new goals. Not trying to hang our hat on what we did last year, and really focused on continuing to get better every single day for this season coming up.
The practice plan for Coach Slowey has been no different, setting her team up in multiple different drills to have them ready to go for Fairfield.
We did a lot of game-like scenarios if, this team's up by X amount, this team is a tie game, whatever it might look like. So trying to get them game-like feel as much as we can. Unfortunately, we're in a polar vortex in the Northeast, so trying to get as much outside time as we can when it's limited because of the temperatures.
Second-year attack Carolee Baswell was named to the preseason Atlantic 10 All-Conference team, and her teammates are looking to use that momentum going into this first matchup.
The momentum and energy is all brought by the girls around me, and seeing especially this new class coming in, all these transfers, having these girls around me, having my best friends, giving me that energy will definitely help me and all of us as a team bring this season together and hopefully pick up where we left off.
Carolee has even received high praise from Coach Slowey.
Carolee's the best player on the field. She's, I think, really stepping into a leadership role this season as well. Last season, it was the first time everyone was doing everything. So a lot of question marks, a lot of unknowns. I think from top to bottom, specifically with Carolee as well, the confidence piece is just really skyrocketed this year. We know who we are and we know what we're capable of. So I'm excited to get after it and really excited to see what she can do for us this year.
Baswell has one last message for Rhode Island fans heading into the season opener.
Rhody fans, they should look forward to our energy and our culture growing as a whole. Seeing us put together all the hard work we put in, I think it's just really impressive to see how we show it off in the games.
That's all for now. For the Rhody Sports Corner, I'm Tyler Pinheiro. Send it back.
Thanks, Tyler. As for some other scores and results around campus this week, women's track and field competed at the John Thomas Terrier Classic on Friday, with 8 athletes competing across 6 track events. The team was back in action on Saturday at the Harvard Invitational, with 9 athletes competing across 3 track and 3 field events. Men's track sent 3 athletes to the John Thomas Terrier Classic on Saturday, with Nick Martin setting a new school record in the 3,000 meter with a time of 7:57.63. Swim and Dive had its final full team meet of the regular season on Saturday, falling to Stony Brook 153-88. Women's basketball tied a program record with a 13th straight win on Saturday, taking down Fordham 61-47 before facing St. Joseph's on Wednesday. Women's tennis found the win column for the first time this spring over the weekend, taking down Fairfield 5-2 on Saturday and beating Sacred Heart 6-1 on Sunday. Men's basketball snapped its 3-game winning streak on Sunday, losing on the road to Duquesne 76-61. After Sunday's loss, men's basketball sits at 7th in the first edition of our A10 Power Rankings, with St. Louis holding first place unanimously among the Cigar Sports staff. In the first edition of our women's basketball A10 Power Rankings, it's Rhode Island holding the top spot in unanimous fashion, with George Mason trailing closely behind. Now let's take a look at what's coming up next week on campus in sports. Men's basketball is set to take on Richmond at the Ryan Center on Saturday at 2 p.m., with women's basketball ready for a Super Bowl Sunday matinee, facing off with St. Louis at noon before closing the week on Wednesday with a matchup against VCU set for 6 p.m. To keep up with the biggest sports stories around campus on the go, tune in to Cigar Sports Talk every Tuesday on Spotify. This week, we caught up on the action over winter break, looked at men's basketball's bounce-back win streak, and more. That's all for this week's edition of the Rhody Sports Corner. To stay updated with all things URI athletics, follow us on Instagram and X at _Cigar Sports. Back to you, Sadie.
Thanks, Charlie. That's all we have for you this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Follow us on Instagram at Rhody Cigar and pick up our print paper anywhere on campus to stay up to date with all your Rhody news. You can also find us online at rhodycigar.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Sadie Brandt. This is the Good 5 Cent Cigar Newscast, and as always, have a great week, Rhody.